Hey KU fans, welcome back to Sprint Center here in Kansas City. Mo.
It's short for Missouri.
Could it be short for momentum though? Could it be? Could it be? Has Kansas built some momentum after this 65 to 57 victory over Texas in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournament? Have they, Benton Smith?
I think they just might have, and I think it's appropriate that they played in Sprint Center because Devon Dotson was sprinting up and down the court, creating stuff for KU. I mean, right?
Should we start this one over?
Yeah, maybe.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, Devon Dotson, I think right off the bat was flying through a passing lane, getting a layup, and that seemed to kind of get him going. He was attacking the paint off the bounce. A few times just they spread the floor and just let him go to work. He went and got layups, got inside, drew fouls, got Texas Bigs in trouble. I thought it was a great night for the freshman point guard.
Yeah, what do you have? 4 assists, no turnovers. You don't have to do
points.
more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you led him in scoring too. Oh, by the way, you don't have to do more than that. If you can put up 17 points, not turn the ball over, whatever else you give is perfect. And I thought this
guarded
team,
Matt Coleman.
he guarded him really well. I just thought this team really looked like they understood who they were tonight. I mean, their game plan: throw it inside, go to work, make those Texas big guys guard somebody. They didn't have to in the first 2 meetings, other than Lawson, but you know, David McCormick, a much more physically imposing presence than Dedrick Lawson, and he showed it tonight. 13 points, 9 rebounds. Had a double-double in his hands and it slipped away, probably because he was playing too hard, going too fast. But he had 5 points in the first 30 seconds of the game. They throw it to him on the first possession and he goes and gets a bucket at Jackson Hayes. That set the tone, and these guys were really impressed with what David McCormick did tonight. Finished with 13 and 9. Dedrick Lawson had 16. You know, Kansas had the better big men tonight, and Texas big men played well, but Kansas got the better of them.
Yeah, Jackson Hayes was pretty much a non-factor,
Right.
and I mean, if you look at if you follow the NBA draft at all, he's potentially a lottery pick. A lot of teams like his kind of upside as an athletic guy inside, but I mean, offensively he did nothing.
Right.
And obviously he's more of a factor defensively, I think, consistently at this stage of his career. But I mean, other than Osikowski kind of stand out here in NBA three-point range and knocking down a couple uncontested, Texas really didn't have much success against Kansas. I think Osikowski is the only guy who really put up numbers.
Yeah, I mean, Favors hit a couple of threes, but he also missed the rim on a couple of threes. I mean, it was that kind of night for Texas, and Kansas moves on. So Kansas is moving on to the semifinals where they're going to meet Texas Tech, right? The 2 seed that everybody knows is on fire, can't be beaten. Nobody's picking against those guys.
Can't.
Well, wait. Something weird happened just before Kansas played West Virginia, who needed a nail-biter to beat Oklahoma in the opening round game. Took it to Texas Tech.
Crazy.
Yeah, well said. We're done. It was crazy. They were physical.
Yeah.
They got on the glass. They were tough. And I'll tell you what, this is a different West Virginia team than you saw struggle their way to the last place finish in the Big 12. They're sharing the ball. They're playing defense. They're happy together. They are enjoying each other. Even Bob Huggins seems to be less miserable. I'm not going to go as far as saying he's happy, but he's less miserable, and that moves the needle. That moves the needle. So Kansas, you know, on paper it's the 3 seed Kansas against the 10 seed. They catch a break, right? The streak ends, and look what they get. They get a do-over from the universe. Well, not exactly. I mean, West Virginia will be a tough out. What do you make of that rematch? They split the season series, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think West Virginia has to enter this just feeling absolutely no pressure at all. They obviously have beaten KU earlier this season. Yeah. So I mean, you can't just assume a KU victory just because of the 10 and the 3 and the way the past few months have gone for West Virginia. This is March. Stupid things happen. How did they beat Texas Tech? I still don't understand it.
Yeah, it was great. What are your final thoughts about KU and just what they showed tonight? I mean, I thought the freshmen played pretty well. You wrote about that. You know, not all of them, not all the time, but getting this one under their belts is so big for those guys because they're going to need them all moving forward if they want to make a real run next week, the week after. And now they know what it feels like a little bit. Maybe not quite to the full extent, but enough.
Yeah, and I think especially for a guy like Ochai Agbaji, who didn't have a lot of an impact offensively, going through this is only going to be good for him tomorrow, maybe Saturday,
Sure.
next week.
Sure.
Because like he's the type of guy that will respond to this in a positive way, not get down on himself and be like, okay, what did I do out there that didn't work?
Yeah.
And then he'll work to make that right. So I think that's big for him. David McCormick is like a completely new man. It's insane. They're just feeding him inside, and he's just going to work. Everything
Confident,
he puts up, it's automatic,
fearless.
In the paint.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks
amazing. What the turn that he's made these past few weeks.
Yeah, he looks really confident, and you know, I asked about you after the game. What'd you learn in this first taste of it? What'd you learn that you think is going to help you guys and you can share with your teammates and all that? And he said, every possession matters. And I know that's a cliche in some ways, but you do have to learn that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's something you have to see, because this team was up 11, second half, 6 minutes left or whatever, and Texas made them sweat. They never got closer than 4, but they made them sweat. It wasn't just up 11 and cruise. They had to earn it all the way to the end, and I think that's a good lesson to learn. So we'll be here tomorrow night, Kansas against West Virginia. We're used to seeing that here. It's just
That's
not
true.
normally
Yeah.
the 3 versus the 10. It's usually in the title game, so we'll see if Devontae Graham's back. That's where he's made a name for himself. I'm guessing he won't be, but he'll be watching. You know he will be. For Ben Smith, I'm Matt Tate. KU wins it 65-57 and moves on to the Big 12 semifinals. Iowa State and K-State in the other Big 12 semifinal just before KU and West Virginia play. So keep an eye on that one too. And keep an eye on KUsports.com for all your coverage. Thanks for checking out KU Sports Extra.